Hello, Dumelang and bonjour. Welcome to SECHABA. Are you listening? Your jam-packed edition of conversations about women, our issues, what we're going through, what we see on these Gaborone, Francistown, Botswana, Africa, global streets, the kinds of the kinds of mess we go through with Abu Buti, with Abu Sisi, because there seems to just be something wrong in the world where people don't think they should be people. Anyway, not to bore you, my name is Moronga Mosetli. I am your host. And as usual, I'm with my bro TK.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Aish, already with the deep questions.
What?
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best.
We're all doing our best today. I hope everybody else woke up feeling that way. We again have a very, very special guest. All my guests are special, guys. They're very, very amazing people. Remember, I promised you that I have... Hey, I always want to say a dozen, but there's only 10 episodes. A dozen minus two. Let me say that, okay? I have a dozen minus two amazing, amazing guests, and they come from all walks of life, sociology, the media, politics, not like politicians, but they work in politics. But today, we have this amazing songstress. We have I don't even know like where to begin describing her because I've never met you, but I've listened to your music forever now. And I want to say I'm a big fan, but you know, I don't really want to put you on the spot, Khane, not like that, but like yeah, we have this amazing songstress with us, and you know, I don't know what to tell you about how just the words in your music tend to make me feel. I tend to feel like I'm right there with you in studio, like we were singing together. But we weren't. I don't have a voice as good as hers. Don't hear me with my sexy voice right now sounding good to y'all. Believe me, if you heard me in the shower, you would die. You would die. But thank you so much for joining us, Khane. I am so happy to have you here, happier than I've been. I should not say that.
Nope.
I should not say that.
Plead the fifth.
I'm really happy to have you here because if I tell my other guests you make me that happy, they're not going to be very happy with me.
My goodness, I really appreciate both of you. Very warm. Welcome. I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate this platform. I appreciate this show and what it stands for and what it means to not only me, but, you know, the daughter that I'm going to have tomorrow.
Well, today she's going to help us break down something. I mean, we've discussed this topic from a, I guess, expert point of view, what it really looks like in terms of the technicalities. However, sexual harassment in the workplace is not limited to your firms, your four-wall buildings. It can happen on the street, it can happen on the stage, it can happen even behind the camera. And Gaone is here to give us a little bit more insight into how it works based on her experiences, just outside of the general scope of an office where we're wearing pencil skirts and collar shirts that, you know, kind of shape us. There are places where a woman can't be a woman even as a performer. Somehow people think that because she's on stage, because she's popular, because she's a public image, we're allowed to touch. We're allowed to say what we want. And that's not fair, you know? But you know what? I'm grateful to have you here. And just in case, I'd like to believe that in Botswana, everybody knows you. But this podcast is going to go across, across.
That's good.
So could we please just start with a small introduction so those people that don't know you can at least have some context into who you are and why I like you so much.
Thank you once more. My name is GAONE RANTLHOIWA. I'm known as a singer, songwriter, and performer. And I'm known mostly by the song Kopisa. It's a Kalanga dance song. I appreciate being made part of this discussion. To start off with, being a public figure is something that comes with its perks. You understand? You are given the privilege to go to certain places. You get to meet some people, and just you're not seen as a foreigner. You don't have to start introducing yourself, asking to have a moment. You are literally just granted that opportunity. I get it. So it does come with with its perks. You know, being loved by people, just being on a platform to just get the good things, the cream of the world. However, it also comes with a side. It comes with a side. It comes with a bit of a downside. To an extent, you are not allowed, or at least during my time, you are not allowed to assert yourself as freely as the next person would. You understand? You're not allowed to assert your yes or your no, or your discomfort or your dislike of something as freely as a normal person would. Why? Simply because you are the product in a way. You understand? So if at all I take a bite of an apple and then that apple decides to be sour that day, I'm not going to want to go next to the apple shelf tomorrow. You understand?
Yeah.
So the same analogy goes. So you have to be a pleasant person. You understand? Even if somebody comes and does something to you or says something to you that's not pleasant to you, you wouldn't freely express it as the next person would. I can easily tell you today that, no, you don't talk to me like that. Or at least these days, artists are more liberated than I was during my time. They're more liberated. They can actually say, you don't talk to me like that, or you don't touch me like that. Back then, you are supposed to find out how to navigate it gracefully. Exactly. So that was what was the case. There was an aspect of touching during my time, but then at some point there was an aspect of just verbal harassment. So that was something that I was supposed to just handle. So that is what I can add to that sentiment that it's like a woman is not supposed to be a woman. And it doesn't necessarily only apply to women, it also applies to men. When you are in that space, you are supposed to just be seen a certain way. And you are supposed to maintain that perception that, oh, she's delightful, or she's grateful, or something like that. Yes. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like how you presented that
Thank
because,
you.
you know, I've had my time as a performer.
Oh, good.
And I remember, I don't know, maybe it was a few months after, you know, this cute little TV show I did showed up. I was visiting my mom in Siroe. It was supposed to be a normal holiday, but I go to Spa. And then the lady at the till, Kwena, oh my gosh, where's your boyfriend? And this whole time she's talking about the guy on TV. First day, easy enough to be pleasant. Second day, easy enough to be pleasant. Third day, ma'am, but that's not me. Like, at some point, I can't keep playing this character for you. At some point, I have to be allowed to just go shopping, you know, get my milk without you bothering me.
Yeah.
But then there were just the random people in the neighborhood who'd follow me home, whispering to themselves, like, Kenny. And there was this one day, I remember when I left Siroe, because I was like, no, Mama, I can't do this. I'm sorry. At least, Goho Papa, nobody can get in the yard. But, you know, she had this, these gates that just open like that. These kids, she'd told me that normally they come in the yard just to get oranges and stuff. But then the older teenagers got a whiff of who was in that yard. And they would come to the window and stare. There's a day I was napping, just minding my own business, and then I hear a sound outside. When I wake up, there's this boy, maybe 15 or 16, just...
Okay, that's not good.
I was like, no, I can't do this. And then that was the day I was like, no more TV. And nope, I'm not going back, because clearly my countrymen don't care about my personal privacy. They don't care about me just being a regular person. And I can't imagine what it's like for other people, because I had the option to be like, well, my passion doesn't necessarily need to feed me. I am happy to take my other skills, make money with my other skills, and then anybody else who I trust and I feel like I can work with on a level that makes sense to me, I will do it. But now I can't imagine where it is definitely your passion. It's what you want to do with your life. There is no way out for you, and then you're faced with that. How do you Like, how do you go home and then look at yourself in the mirror and not feel just a little bit disgusted by how you've been treated or want to just quit?
Oh my goodness, I really appreciate that short story and the question. My goodness, first of all, let me just start with that. That was the case with me at the time. That was all I felt like I could do. You understand? It was my bread and butter, and I felt like, okay, but this is literally all that I can do. This is all that I can. Literally, this is all that I can do. That's all I can say. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had no choice but to take it, and it got from bad. It went from bad to worse to hellish to, affecting my mental health. Yeah. So during the time when I was still up there, it was unpleasant, but I could live with it because I was making money.
Yes,
I
yes.
get it.
Money
But
helps,
then
guys.
when it started to dwindle, that became amplified because even when I was up there, the fact that maybe I couldn't, should I say, accumulate enough to get that car, get that house, like the typical celebrity is supposed to accumulate. Just the fact that I couldn't be able to do that when I was up there, my fame and all the pleasures that came with it also came with that famous but broke thing. I hated it. It also came with that, my goodness, I can't even articulate it. Like, is that okay?
Emma.
Like, you look so beautiful. You understand? I didn't like it because whenever I was on stage doing my craft, even when I was writing a song, I felt like, okay, but this is who I am meant to be.
Yeah.
So it meant so much to me that I hated that it had to be belittled by that statement. Like, it just poured water all over it, and I really hated it. So indeed, I had to endure it because, first of all, there was the hope that, okay, maybe one day this will accumulate. Maybe one day I'll just hit that jackpot. Maybe I just might, if I can release that album that has been set on for such a long time, maybe a breakthrough can come and I can get that car, get that house, and be dignified and actually dignify this thing that means so much to me. You understand? So that is why I kept going. That is why I tolerated it. At some point, you just learn to live with it. So I just took it as, just the cross I have to bear, just so that I can see this thing materialize. So that was the case with me. It was I had no other choice. I felt like I had no other choice. Right now, obviously, it went to a place where I had no other choice but to now figure out how else to make a living. You understand? So I did find something else to do, and I think I'm building towards a good place. I'm building towards a place where I can be able to even fund my craft and dignify it because it doesn't go away. However, during that time, no. I had to enjoy it. I had to have it be a cross that I have to carry. And during those times, because it was hope that was at the forefront, and you know what, I know I can do this. I know I can if you could just give me one more year, you understand? I didn't really go home to feel disgusted with myself. I think the disgust came when I was broke. Oh my goodness. So when you're there, like, you don't even have thick skin. I couldn't get thick skin for the life of me because everything that somebody would say, I feel like whenever I reasoned for my pain, I would be like, okay, I think all sorts of things have been said about Boiti, that like taken a picture of her with the dread parts exposed, but she has her own your throne show. So you can be the same person who's insulting her, but then you are the same person who is celebrating after her life because you're broke. She's got it all together. But in my case, everything I felt like, okay, but my life agrees with what they're saying. They feel justified. They feel backed up by just the state I'm in. So that was where my pain was coming from with all of what was happening. So it was a lot of, you are this, you are that, you are this, you are that. But because I was just at that low place, it hurt. But had it gone a different way, I would have been able to bounce back somehow. Yes.
Okay. Oh, your story is very powerful.
Thank you very much for
And
that.
if there are three key takeaways that I noted from what you just mentioned is, firstly, in the industry that you were in, there was the dehumanization of a person where you are a product. So it's like, I'm going into Pick and Pay, I grab a carton of milk. I'm like, not this one. I put
Yeah.
it back. It's like you're not a person. You're just someone who's there to entertain us.
Yeah.
And your feelings don't matter. And then for you now, as the person who this is being done to, there was 2, maybe 3 key things that kept you going, which was the yearning of a better future. Then there was the hope and the aspirations that, okay, maybe today will be the day, And then what then made you also then realize that you can't take it anymore was now that hope dwindling to say, okay, I think I've done enough and I've put up with so much, and which is something that is very respectable to say, you know what, it didn't break you. It actually built you. You actually made something for yourself afterwards. And there are some young women, young men who are also going through maybe the same process, and then they aren't as lucky in the sense of bouncing back. What would be, let's say, your suggestions in the sense of maybe helping them not to be where you are,
Yes.
but just to build that resilience?
My goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my word. Hey, Baton. Oh, bear with me. Honestly, allow me to just start. Can I answer this with a story?
Yes.
This is your time.
Let me answer this with a story, okay? So it's 2022 and I am in this house just crying my eyes out. So I think it was after, I guess you can say, the last of that sexual harassment happened. I remember I'm on stage, the very last show, the last big show. So I'm on stage, I'm rehearsing, and there's this gentleman, the band members, and they keep making these snide remarks. I can't even utter them. And I had mastered the art of just keeping a straight face because of a story for another day. But, you could do or say some things to me, and I'd just be like, okay. And you wouldn't really, I wouldn't give you anything when it comes to my emotion, so I had mastered that, but I heard everything and they were just describing all sorts of things that they had gotten from the kissers and tellers, if you are hearing me. So I'm hearing them and I'm seeing that everything is even changing in the room. What that endearment, that respectful endearment has changed. It just fizzled out into nothing. And now I'm just hearing murmurs. I'm seeing dirty looks. I'm wondering, oh my goodness, okay, this is not good. This is not good. But I don't want to cause a scene. And I absolutely hate this. You're saying this. No, I didn't say that. Oh my goodness, that's the most draining thing. And I think I feel more ashamed, getting engaged in that you're saying this, I didn't say that conversation, that actually just taking it and then just allowing silence or my action to just respond. You understand? So I heard it and I went on and I went home, obviously, and then went through the days. They kept doing it again and again. So I got on stage on the last days. I gave it my all. And then, got off stage. There's always a few people who will always love you no matter what, you understand? I got off stage, obviously, they came and they gave me their hugs. It was nice, it was a moment. But after that moment faded, it started again. But I remember my heart breaking so much because now it was coming from I wouldn't say the dignitaries, but it was the organizers, like the higher officials. You understand? That's a manner in which somebody addresses you when they respect you. You can hear that people, this person thinks, highly of me. This person esteems me to a considerable extent. But then you can hear it when they think nothing of you. So by the time I got into that car that took me home, they were literally shouting my name as though they were shouting in the streets, and it didn't feel good. Still, I was still in the height of the moment. So it didn't do much. I heard it, but it didn't do much because I'm still just in the height of the moment, like, oh my goodness, I was just on stage. And it had been years since I gotten that opportunity, you understand? And when I got that opportunity, I felt like, oh my goodness, this would be the one chance to revive my career. For them to see that, but on stage, she still brings it. She may not have new content, but on stage with the few that she has, she still brings it. That had been my aim when I stepped onto that stage. But because of that rumor that went around, or that sentiment, that statement, that just insult that went around, doors started closing.
Yeah.
After that very last show, and that show, I had brought it. I even felt it myself that, you know what, I brought it. Everybody came, like those people who I hadn't seen in years, they came and they gave me a hug like, my goodness, this truly was meant for you. But because of just those statements and the atmosphere they had caused, the seeds that they had planted in other people's, or in the minds of people who were gonna present more opportunities to me again.
Yeah.
That was an exit for me, a forced exit in a way. It was so painful. I remember the first month passed, the second month passed, and everybody I had attended that event with were busy. Obviously, I'm on social media. I get it. Everybody was busy, but on my side, there was dead silence. The loudest silence. I don't know if I will go with dead silence or we go with the loudest silence, but I think I'm going to go with the loudest silence. Like, it was so silent, like not even a single call. So I took it upon myself to make those phone calls. Okay, come on, hello, Yana, remember me, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, I'll get back to you. No, thanks, I'll get back to you. Thank you, I'll get back to you. Nothing. And that money that I had gotten from that show, obviously, there's nothing else coming in, okay?
It's
If not
gonna
little.
finish.
I was a home tutor, if not little. So it's dwindling, it's getting finished. And then I remember, so that moment that I started with, I remember thinking, oh my goodness, like, wow, I'm done. Like, this is, I'm done. This is like, it's done. And this is something that I had literally placed my entire life on. Maria, I had bet my entire life on this thing, and it's gone. I'm in a dark, empty space, you understand? And I remember I was crying, like, and I had been crying for days and weeks. It was painful because that was just the moment when I saw, oh my goodness, my music career is dead. And I fought for so long. And I have moved with so much integrity, and I had worked so hard. But because of just this little thing, it's done. And I remember I've always been a silver lining type of person. Really, it didn't occur to me until I was 33 that, oh my goodness, the environment that I grew up in was a hostile, abusive environment. And in that environment, the people who were supposed to love me didn't actually want me. Period. You understand? But because I was a kid, I was innocent, and I grew up with that innocence, and it was a normal for me. I didn't realize it. So I would go to bed with my heart broken, but in the morning, a song would be playing in my heart. And I'd wake up and I'd just sing to it, and then I'd just go on and be a kid again. You understand?
Yeah.
So in that moment, it's like that inner child came out again. You understand? And then we looked for a silver lining, and I saw it. I had I call it an epiphany. I'll call it an epiphany. It's like, okay, fine. It seems like it's dark and desolate, and you're just left to die. But it does not have to be dark and desolate. It can be a black and a blank, a black and a blank canvas, a black and blank canvas. So if it's a black and blank canvas, anything goes. Now you get to do whatever you want.
That's
You understand?
True. That's true.
So I remember in that moment, I sprung out of bed. I was like, oh my goodness, now I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Literally. I had been holding on to this one thing for so many years, and I've been suffering, and it's been taking away a lot from me, just holding on to it. But now let me just let it go, and then acknowledge that, you know what, a creative will always create.
Yeah.
You understand? So that was how I got to console myself. That was how I got to have, a reason to be alive. Literally, literally, it's unconventional. You understand? Another person can say, my child, my God, my this. Literally, that was my moment for me. Like, okay, fine. It doesn't mean that all I have left to do is to die. You understand? This thing was placed inside of me I was born with it. So a creative will always create. It doesn't have to be dark and desolate. It doesn't mean that I'm dead and buried. It means it's a black and blank canvas. So what else can I do? I remember I got out of bed. I think it was at around 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. at night. And I started typing stuff, writing proposals, literally. Exactly. There was a neighbor who had given me a free password to her Wi-Fi. I started writing proposal and looking for emails and contacts so I can start looking for collaborations. Exactly. So I don't know what to say to the next person because honestly, it can get to a place where it's so hopeless. You feel like only death is what is left for you. You understand? But if at all you can find something that's worth living for, I don't know how you possibly can. But if at all you can look around hard enough or you can sit in that pain long enough for it to, or for the louder voices that are negative to quieten down and for there to be something else that speaks positivity and for you to just latch onto that. You understand? Maybe, just maybe, because I don't want to lie to you, it got really bad for me. It got really bad, like one thing after the other, and it was descending rather than ascending. So it was a miraculous moment. I'll call that a miraculous moment. And from that moment, I actually built something, or I started something that I call it the black canvas movement. I call it the black canvas movement because it speaks to people who have walked the same journey that I have. You understand? People who have been ostracized for a lot of things, be it inadequacy, be it flaw, be it lack. You understand? Be it past mistakes that have created or that people around you have just created a narrative that they just won't let go of. You understand? You can discover a cure for polio, and they'll still say, okay, fine, but when he was young, he did 1, 2, and 3. You understand? Just soiling everything you are trying to work hard. Exactly. So I started that thing. I think it's months after I had that epiphany. I remember I started it as a T-shirt, a merchandise brand, because I was so broke and I didn't have a support system. I think you've heard it. I didn't have a support system. I sold 1 or 2 T-shirts and then it died off again. But still, I believed in it. And then earlier this year, I started it again because I had a job, but that job didn't last. So obviously, it had to pause again. But there's this concept, everybody around the world really, is called the black canvas, okay? Your life, even if you have been taught, even if it's been so deeply engraved into your subconscious that, you have this big flaw that is basically a hopeless cause, I guess. Or you have this inadequacy that will never amount to something significant, I don't know, something noteworthy. It doesn't mean that you are not worthy as a person. You understand? It doesn't mean that you are undeserving or you suddenly don't belong as a person. You understand? The mantra or the should I say the conclusion or the last line or the main line of the Black Canvas movement is that you deserve to live nonetheless.
Yes.
If it gets to like the very, very bottom where you feel like, okay, fine, there's nothing else, but you should know that the fact that you are alive, you deserve to live nonetheless.
Amen.
It silences every voice. It silences everything.
Yeah.
So that is what I can say to the next person. It's a lot that has happened. It's a complex web. You understand? So that is what I can say to the next person. You deserve to live nonetheless.
I would have loved that to hear about that movement 7 years ago. You know.
Oh,
yeah.
That's good to know.
As you know, it's something I'm going to also open up. You know, it's not the kind of a story actually.
Okay.
It goes back to just societal pressures. You know, having body shamed, bullied, laughed at. Gone through just essay as a man, and not being able to navigate, and I felt like my life just kept on going, in this deep dark hole. My university at some point, my grades dropped. They sent me at the time it was called a G7 warning, where they're saying, hey,
Yeah,
we
you
see
don't
you're
buckle up.
failing.
Yeah, we're about
If
to
you
drop
fail,
you.
we're about to drop you.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, and now I was like, okay, my parents are investing 300,000 rands every year. And this is my third year. And if I go back home having been kicked out, there's nothing else left. This was the only thing I was holding on
Yes,
to.
yes.
And I won't lie, like I tried to even overdose and
Oh,
die
goodness, yeah.
because I felt like it was just hopeless. And hearing you speak and you share your story to say, look, I turned that negativity and I looked at the silver lining, and that is what kept me going. I'm like, I needed such a community where I could meet like-minded people who've gone through not necessarily the same experiences as me,
Yes, of course.
but they understand what it means to see darkness.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And I think a lot of us don't, we take that for granted to say, oh, I might start crying.
Oh, bless your heart.
But just to cut the long story
Yes,
short,
yes.
it's I hope that this movement and this mantra that you're going with actually can inspire someone who's watching. To you, you might say you're putting it on pause, but to
Yeah.
someone, that's the first step to their
Yes.
journey. So I hope that whoever's watching there can also take that, you know, and run with it.
I
You know,
appreciate you.
I just felt like I also had to share that,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
your story is really inspiring, and it's really showing me that I'm not alone. I'm not the only
Yes,
person
yes,
who
absolutely.
had to walk through this.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I
Wow.
really appreciate you for that. I really do.
Yes. On that very powerful note, Bakhetso, we need to disappear to the corners to wipe our eyes for a second. We'll be right back on SECHABA. Are you listening?
Are you listening?
Welcome back to SECHABA. Are you listening? I'm still here with my co-host TK
What do you do?
and our wonderful guest GAONE. Now, before we went to the break, hey guys, y'all shared some very special stories. So now I don't have a choice. You see what people make me do, guys. This is not my fault. I'm now gonna tell you the story because I have to tell you the story. I think I was maybe 24, 25. I was working in fairgrounds, and I left home one day. I left the office one day, and I was going home. On my way home, I get robbed by, Babuti Bastrata. They borrowed themselves my office laptop, and then they disappeared. The funniest thing about this is that my handbag stayed with me, even though it was easily accessible to them. The laptop was under me. I still can't tell you how they got it, but Babuti Bastrata. They're slick.
Super diligent.
But then I decided, nope, I'm going to quit my job. I cannot do this. This man has me working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., sometimes on Saturdays. I'm going crazy right now. I'm not going back to this life, not so that I can get robbed again. Nope, we are not going to do this. But I would go visit my uncle just randomly one day. I had to drop something off in Mulepolole, and that's not where I grew up, but I spent a lot of time there with my grandparents. And so when I realized that I was dropping something off across the road from the house that I grew up in, I was like, hey, let's go check Uncle Moff. He's probably home. Uncle Moff is like, no, my daughter, we need to go see my friend. Uncle Moff, we can't be going to... I need to get back to Gabs. What? I can't be going to visit your friend? No, Wanake, let's go. You need to see the sky. So we visit his friend. I don't even know what his name is. He's talking all these random things, but he eventually gives me Paulo Coelho's Alchemist and says, you have to read this book. It's going to change your life. Old man, come on. I ain't got a job. I ain't got no money. My art's not working out like I thought. This is not the time to read the book. But then in the book is a poster for a show called The Mother of All Eating that's showing, I think it was at the Market Theatre in Johannesburg or something. So I asked him about this poster, and he says, yeah, no, my daughter's the director, whatnot. And instantly, tears, oh my God, tears. Why was I crying? Because this was 2015. In 2011 or 2012, I went to my Tisong Theatre, and one of my favorite actors, Tefo Baya, was putting on, wouldn't you know it, The Mother of All Eating. Here I am 3 years later trying to figure out what steps am I supposed to take now. And that was, hey, you're in the right place take the book, read the book. The man's not crazy. I took the book, I read the book. The Alchemist actually did change my life. And I would end up at my next job, which had me working as a communications professional. That job got me in touch with my current boss at Mebala, and now I am in front of your screens, like almost 10 years later. But as it turns out, it's very, very true that there's the only way you can go when you are at the bottom is up. But unfortunately, if you kill yourself, you're not going to get there. You kind of have to be patient enough to find the up. But let me stop boring you with my fantastic stories. Gaone, just because personally, outside of the idea of fame and people feeling like they had a right to just stop me, watch me, do whatever they want, I really can't say I've experienced too much real sexual harassment or really any kind of harassment. Even in the little things I've done, I think I've been lucky to be able to surround myself with men and women who were more passionate than power hungry.
Yeah. Good for you.
But now, because there's a lot of young people who are going to end up in the wrong studio, on the wrong stage with the wrong promoter, what are the kinds of things happening that we should be aware of, that we should be looking out for to be able to say, ga ke a tshwanela go buisiwa yana, or ga ke a tshwanela go tshwariwa yana. This is not how the music industry works. This is not how the creative industry is supposed to take me.
Thank you for that question. Well, first of all, let me just start by saying you have a very nice inside voice.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So there's something about having a naturally big voice that you don't hear how loud you are until the normal person speaks. So the entire time she's going on, I'm thinking, oh goodness, I've been so loud. Anyway, it's how I am. I've tried to change it. I
We like
cannot
it.
for the life of me.
Please don't. It works. I want to
Anyway.
learn to talk like that because everybody keeps saying, why do you talk to us like you're in the bedroom? I don't mean to, guys. I
No,
don't.
apparently there's such thing as an inside voice. So yeah. Anyway, yes, I thank you for that question, my darling. Okay. My goodness. Hey, how do I answer this though? Well, the first thing that comes to mind was getting off stage and I took my seat obviously. And there's these two boys who came. No, let me answer it a different way, man. I was a different child, Lynn, nowadays. I wasn't out there, but I was shy and too much of a people pleaser, okay? Assertion was something that had been super discouraged. And it wasn't just in the industry that I was in. It was just where I had come from. Assertion of any kind was extremely discouraged. So I was a yes, little girl.
Yeah.
You understand? So even when I got into the industry and I was told, okay, but you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Otherwise, they will never book you. You understand? So the people who were, I guess you can say, managing me, they had that fear that if you assert yourself and you have a lot of no's or you express yourself or you stand up to people, I guess they will close doors on you. And it was a thing that happened during that time, okay? So they had their reasons. So because that was what had been drilled into me, in addition to how I was. I stepped off stage, and I sat down, and these two gentlemen came. I remember they were drunk, and I'm sitting there like, God, Lord have mercy. And it starts with the hugs, the thing, okay, fine, that'd be nice. Okay, this is love. It's genuine love from a fan. I shouldn't annoy the fans, okay? And then at some point, and I remember feeling uncomfortable, but I couldn't move. Because I'm not supposed to say anything to upset the fan. So that was what that was. And I remember I don't remember if somebody came and actually had to take my hand to get me out of that place. Exactly. And then I got out, and then they said, why didn't you say no to those boys? And I said, but you told me I shouldn't say anything to the fans.
That's literally insane. Isn't that gaslighting?
No, but it was a fair question. I mean, any person who has it in them to just assert themselves, if you're uncomfortable, don't touch me like that again. But I didn't have it in me. I genuinely didn't have it. I just felt like, okay, but if there's a rule that I've been given, is that you should not push the fan away. Otherwise, they will tell them that GAONE is rude and GAONE is this and GAONE is that. And then nobody will book you because the fans won't like you. Okay, so that was one incident. And the other incident was just verbal stuff. Okay, verbal stuff. Let me say that maybe I can't repeat it. I don't like repeating the things in Jana because my past is over, man, okay? So, hey, she did this, but they were describing bedroom acts. You understand? Exactly, like special stuff that I thought I was doing for the love of my life, and it was somebody who just wanted to kiss and tell. So I remember thinking, okay, this is not good.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Exactly, so this is not good. So it was on that stage when I was rehearsing, and it went around, and I remember we were singing with choir, so it was a lot of people hearing that thing. That was not good. Like, it was not good. It broke me. That right here, that right there broke me.
Yeah.
And that right there actually drove me to a point of being suicidal. But then it was at that point also when all of those voices quietened down, when I was all by myself, literally, that the black canvas theory or mantra came to life. It got really bad. It does not necessarily have to be somebody coming and groping you or touching you inappropriately. In my case, I was harassed in this sexually. You understand? But it was just verbally. And it can actually just literally, you can feel naked even when you're covered, just by the way somebody speaks to you or speaks about you, even the way they look at you. So that is how it happens for me. That was what that was for me. Yes.
Yeah.
And it closed a lot of doors. That was another thing that really broke my heart. It closed a lot of doors. Just that thing going around and around. People really, really, really openly avoided me. They openly avoided me. And oh my goodness, you can take it for granted when you've never experienced it. But when you are so desperate to prove yourself, so desperate to just have that one opportunity to make things right and make your life better, and then it's been taken away by a rumor. Oh, my goodness. So that is how that was for me.
Wow.
Yes.
That is very, very powerful. TK? I need a counselor's opinion, my guy.
TK is in a timeout.
No. TK can't be in a timeout because I need to know, from a man's perspective, what is it about people that suggests that by knowing something I've done in my sexual history, or by knowing who I've been with in my sexual history, why does that say to people I am less worthy than anybody else? I mean, what is it about society that says, yeah, no, she's had sex with 10 men, useless, can't be loved.
I'd love to
Throw
answer
her
that
away.
way, even outside of TK. I'm so sorry to take
Okay,
this
both of
away
you
from
answer.
you.
Yes.
Well, because mostly because what you even said, what do I have to say to somebody out there? Let me tell you something. This is something that came to me just in recent times when I was thinking, my story has morphed so many times into so many different things. But right now, if at all somebody can come and say, what do you have to say about your life? This is what I can say. You understand? People who go around just perpetrating and causing hurt, causing people to just get hurt, breaking people's hearts. My goodness, we are creating our reality. I promise you. Leave people to their karma. I don't like using the word karma, but literally, that person is creating their reality. You understand? You even, my goodness, I used to hate it even when somebody said you feel sorry for them. But once you really get to understand how life works, you'll feel sorry for that person. Because if it's not them, it's going to be their children. And your child will bring you to your knees. Because the moment you bring your child into the world, you feel like, okay, but I want this to be the best little human being ever. And then they grow up and then they're watching you do the exact same things that have always given you power. And they're learning that, oh, that's good. But in the moment they get out into the real world,
Yes.
and you may be now in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s thinking, yeah, I'm untouchable. You know, boss, mama, barili, I did this to this person, and you know, you can't touch this. Age will humble you. Your health will humble you. Something will bring you to your knees. And trust me, I at some point, I didn't want to admit it. My goodness, you see, like values and principles that get instilled in you. I'm not a saint. I'm not a saint 100%. There's some people out there who feel like, I regret the day I met GAONE RANTLHOIWA in my life. And I don't blame them.
Yeah.
There are people who say, I'm glad GAONE is suffering right now. I don't blame them. But there are people also who say, you understand, I wish the best for GAONE. I'm glad I met somebody like GAONE. And I can attest that because, okay, fine, first of all, there's such a thing as monkey see, monkey do. That is why I get it. I feel sorry for you, but more than that, I feel sorry for your child because your child is watching you. There are things that I did that I thought, you know, this is how a person ought to move. This is how a person ought to stand up for themselves. This is what equates to power. This is what equates to maturity. And I did them wholeheartedly and innocently because that was all I knew. You understand? Exactly. But then I wasn't one to lie to myself. When I was wrong, when I was really wrong, even life somehow was orchestrated that it just wouldn't lie to me. If that slap is meant to land here, it would land, and it would land accordingly, properly. You understand? So I always had to have a moment of self-introspection. Here I was wrong, hands down. But here, this person is creating their reality. You see, once you adopt this mindset, you'll be free from even harboring resentment and grudges because literally, it's going to take a while and it'll probably be none of your business by the time it happens. But literally, whatever this person does and whatever power it gives them, if it hurts you, oh my goodness, that's their reality. They're going to meet that match or they're going to wake up one day maybe looking for support of some sort. And that will be all that people around him will remember about that person. You understand? So you just let it go and then you focus on building yourself because you deserve to live nonetheless. The black canvas, you deserve to live nonetheless. Everybody's creating that reality. I deserve to have peace and just contentment for the rest of my days, even with the little that I have. You understand? So even if they feel like, okay, fine, a woman is like this, a woman is like that. Tomorrow, your health will humble you, my brother. If you're going to go around thinking you are untouchable because you're not a woman and you are doing all that stuff. You are creating your reality if you feel like you are just going to go around labeling somebody's wife, somebody's daughter, somebody's mother. Because tomorrow you will have your children and they will adopt this exact mindset. How is that future going to look? So you just leave a person to do whatever they want to do. You just leave them and then you focus. Your energy becomes limited as you age, as you grow. Reserve your energy to build yourself and build for your children. You deserve that after everything.
That's very,
but
very
yes,
powerful.
that's what I wanted to say. Listen to that.
Nah, she extended my time out.
Do you not have anything?
She went in.
That's true.
She went in.
That's true.
She
I'm
didn't
really
leave
not
no
sure
crumbs.
there's
She
more
didn't leave
advice.
no crumbs. But just since you're asking for my 2 cents as well,
Please.
I also think it stems from, masculinity. Because, if the rumors that were being said about her were being said about me, let's say as a male entertainer, it would have been props, like,
Actually, true.
Here, get some, here, you're good. We're hearing this, we're hearing that. It's not a bad thing, right? But because now she's a woman, and most of these people are also men, and I would also want to put it in a phrase of, I'm not saying in her instance, but I'm saying maybe in some other cases it can be even from resentment. How can a woman be making it? And I'm here in a band. I'm here in a choir. I'm going to muddy her name. So that if I can't make it, no one will. It's a thing of, I have to pull you down to feel better about myself. So sometimes it's not to say that we want to downplay harassment, because it is still harassment. It's harassment, it's bullying, it's everything you can color with a negative brush.
Yes.
Right. So I would like to believe that it's not always about the person sexualizing you, but it's also about the person just resenting your success. Because now look, when she came back trying to make a comeback, they're like, oh no, she cannot have another 10.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that the doors close for good for sure this time.
My goodness.
Because why is it the rumors are starting when she decides to make a comeback? Why didn't they start yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago? Why is
When
it
she was new?
Why is it when there's the people that she needs to connect with, these rumors now surface? So it's also a thing of sometimes as society, we are our own downfalls. I do believe in karma as well, because what you give out, it can return to you twofold, threefold,
10
tenfold.
times.
Right? It's a thing of now, how do we better community to respecting women? Because this double standard cannot surely continue to persist,
Yeah.
to continue
That's true.
to be something that we look forward to say, okay, as a male artist, as a male videographer, as a male CEO, I can come and, Trump and his voice notes. Who were the most outraged people? It was women. And it shows you the double standard. It's not that men do not report harassment or sexual assault. Yes, we do report in our own numbers, but when it happens to a woman, we're like, but she's an entertainer. What does she expect?
Yeah.
Like the story you told of, fans grabbing you, kissing you. We can be like, but you put yourself there.
Yeah.
What did you expect? But when they do that to our Little Wayne, we're like, don't touch him.
Yes.
5 meter radius, no one close. Why
Yeah.
is it there's always this double standard? So I think I would like to call out our I almost got lost where I'm supposed to look. But I would like to call out like all our viewers to actually also be the change that we need to make, our Botswana entertainment industry safer, our work environments safer, our communities safer. I want to be in a community where my little girl can, I'm speaking into existence.
Mamuhita, watch out.
Watch out. But I want to be in a community where my little girl can just walk around, dream big, and not think that, okay, if I want to be this, then what do the men have to say about it?
Yeah.
If she wants to, be a musician, let her be a musician. She doesn't have to conform to, the objectification of women in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
So I am going to listen to your music. I've just been around for a little while. So I haven't
2.5
got into
years
your,
is not a little while.
I haven't got into your playlist. So
My niece is 2.5 years old. What you talking about?
So I'm gonna give you a few good 100 listens this month.
Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate that, okay.
But thank you very, very much for your moving story and also the motivational speech. In as much as it was directed also mainly towards women, I feel like as a man, I felt like it was also speaking to me.
Absolutely.
Not only to speak up when I see injustice, not only to speak up when I'm facing injustice, but to also be part of the solution.
Absolutely.
Because you cannot change, no man is an island, basically. I think those will be my closing words.
Yes.
No man is an island.
Yes, guys, there's how many billion did we say the other day?
7. We never proof checked, eh? Do we have a
really
fact
never
checker in the
checked that.
podcast house here? Do we have a fact checker?
Dear Baholo, don't judge me if I'm not sure how many people there actually are in the world. But look, there's a few billion of us out here, okay? Each one can teach one, and each one can be kind to the next one. And if we all do that, I think things will be better. Especially 1%. Dear 1%, we see you. Like, we like y'all because y'all have the money. But it would be nice if y'all did a few more things that benefited the whole global community instead of just yourselves, Actually insist on having some sexual harassment policies in your workplaces. It helps, guys. Every little step we take towards making the world a better place is actually going to help. It's actually going to make a difference. We will see you next time on SECHABA. Are you listening?